add to the problems you cited. You know, the collections that we have in terms of our quarry resources. I said a while ago that on the first 6 months we had a lot of funding. Not so after 6 months. Like in 2008 and even now, the Sangguniang Panlalawigan did not approve operational funds for our quarry operations. Yes, we have salaries for our personnel, and our personnel increased from before 120, now they are 220, and something like 40 of these have been given a salary by Sangguniang Panlalawigan. So we had to look for other resources from my office, no? And we asked, for example, this year for 8 million pesos for our operations, mga crudo, and we requested also 3 million pesos for capital outlay to buy cars, and these were not approved by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan.
Because the provincial board is not allied with you politically.
Well, yes, that's right. Okay. Remember, I ran alone, and up till now I'm alone. So I think there is a conscious attempt to stifle the growth and the successes that we have had, no? Wherein actually all these victories have to be collective, and in terms of acknowledgement, there are responsibilities of each one in the province, Sangguniang and the executive.
But then this leads to the question that I've heard many people ask, which is, if your victory as governor was a small step forward in terms of fighting corruption and delivering services, why is it that you seem not to have been able to expand your base of political support in the province? I mean, in the first place, your winning was a fluke because partly your opponents weren't able to unite against you, and so you squeaked through. But people are asking, if they're looking to you for a model of good governance and transformatory servant leadership, why is it that there doesn't seem to be an epidemic of people joining the Panlilio bandwagon to give you the support that the politicians are denying?
Well, I believe, Manolo, you have to look into the nature of Pampanga politics, no? And we have a perception, no? And this is very hard to prove, that wetting politics is in place in Pampanga, and even unethical leadership is happening in Pampanga, and there seems to be an orchestration of this in the province. But the good thing about this is that a lot of people have been silently supporting us, because in spite of the many problems that we have to address, recall, recount, perjury, and all this, we have been delivering. And in terms of, not only in terms of the quarry resources, but even the projects that we have, we implement. And you know, the infrastructure projects are a big source of corruption in many places. We have eliminated almost completely SOP and commission. And I believe this is infuriating a lot of public officials in Pampanga.
So you're saying that it's actually a case that there is a silent majority in the province that appreciates what is taking place, but don't want to stick their heads out because there's some pretty nasty people who might...
Well, yes and no. There's silent people who are so supportive of us, but there are some members of the civil society, like the Kasao, and some of them are here in the studio, have been supporting us and fighting for the people and with the people.
Okay, do we have a question from the floor?
Bianca from our studio audience has a question about the larger reason for having the awards program.
Yes, well, awards are basically focused on the best. So I would like to ask if competition, yes, it's healthy, but would it ever, would it affect the morality of doing it for the sake of the betterment of life in the country instead of the betterment of, well, themselves and the prestige and the money? Thank you.
Well, that's a question right up your alley, Governor.
Well, I believe these initiatives on the barangay level, up to the all the way up to the provincial level, are making a big impact in terms of the perception that we have in the Philippines, that governance is so corrupt-laden, is so graft-laden. So these examples make it are sufficient proof that good governance is possible in the country. And this is infectious, I would say.
Okay, now because if you have a program like this, so in the particular case of this award, it's for your quarry activities. You're saying that other people could look at your model, which says part of it is simply apply the regulations consistently and transparently, get people in on the ground so that you don't have to wait for an enforcer upstairs, and then report the results so that you're forced to have a benchmark that everyone will subscribe to. You've also been involved with other local government leaders around the country who feel the time has come to start working together more effectively. How's this been working out?
Yes, you're referring to Kaya Natin, no? So we started with three, Mayor Jess Robredo of Naga City and Governor Grace Padacua of Isabela, myself. And after some time, we took in two other guys like the Governor of Ifugao, Governor Ted Bagilat, and Mayor Sonia Lorenzo of San Isidro,
Now,
Nueva
what all of you have in common is that you've all sparked interest throughout the country. People are looking at what you guys are doing in your localities, but also because you've become the targets. You're not very popular with some institutions in our country, particularly those that thrive on patronage politics. So is this just the bunch of you sort of consoling each other, or how do you go beyond that and actually start having an epidemic?
It was actually Harvey Ke of Ateneo School of Government who thought of putting us together at Club Filipino one night 6 months ago, and thought that we have been dubbed as pockets of hope. That's how they call us, no? And if we are providing hope, we shouldn't be just islands of hope. So we have to get together. So we got together and shared our experiences. And we realized that a lot of the practices that we have been doing are based on transparency, accountability, people participation. We are against corruption, we are against wetting, and all this, no? And then we thought that after some time we realized that we needed one another to support each other. So it wasn't only a matter of providing hope, but even getting inspiration and support from each other.
Yeah. Now, how does this translate into the nuts and bolts, let's say, of practical politics, which is, it's fine to have ideas, it's fine, it's good to have a reputation, but how are you doing in terms of getting your supporters together and making sure they're going to show up, cast their ballots, and have those ballots counted properly for your whole team?
Well, I am new in politics, Manolo. Basing from the experiences, for example, of Padacua, Governor Padacua, and all my companions, Jess Robredo, Mayor Sonia, and Governor Ted Bagilat. If you're doing well, if you're delivering services, that's the best campaign material for the next elections.
Manolo, we have another question, also in terms of gathering support, but I believe this time in terms of the people working for you. Linda, through text, is asking, don't you think it's necessary to win over the provincial board?
We have been trying our best to win them over, and we never thought that we can do things all alone. No? So really, it's a necessary step, but what can we do if we're limited also by their acceptance and non-acceptance?
Do you believe it was a mistake in the end that you ran alone and did not have a whole slate running with you because of this situation, for example?
Given the situation that we had in May of 2007, I would rather call it a lack, a deficiency, no? That really, when you put in candidates, it should be a whole package from, let's say, local elections from the municipal councilors up to the provincial, the governor.
Okay, this brings up a question that I've been debating endlessly with people before we go to this